League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the North American side of the ESL Pro League. My name is Blue. Joining me here this evening is Mega Man. We're getting started, of course, at our usual time. We do have to switch things over to the B channel, as I believe the European stream is still running at this point. So those guys are running a little over schedule, and so as not to inconvenience the teams participating in our Pro League, we are going to jump over to Channel B for the time being. Our first matchup for tonight is going to be AGG versus NRG. Mega Man, let's talk a little bit about this one. Of course, two maps as usual, and the first one's going to be on Cobblestone.
Yeah, starting on Cobble, and then we hit Dust 2 afterwards. This should be a pretty good matchup. I think NRG's got a little bit more firepower in their tank to take down AGG, being that they're a little bit more of a younger, less experienced team. Gabi has been doing some work in the North American division since he came over and started to whip these guys into shape a little bit. They're sitting at 4-4 on the season, but definitely seen some moments of greatness out of these guys so far this season. So hopefully that can continue on. They actually managed to steal a win away from NRG earlier on in the season. And that was actually on Dust 2. So that being one of the two maps that they're playing, I expect NRG to at least romp on Dust 2. Cobblestone, not so sure about. They played Liquid on that and lost 16-12. So again, not a bad showing on that map either. So I assume NRG is probably going to take this 2-0.
Yeah, so we actually saw them play quite a bit on Thursday as well when we had the last North American Pro League stream, and one of their biggest issues as we start to talk about some negatives with these guys is that their T-sides were quite horrendous. However, when you consider the two maps that they're actually going to be playing on today versus AGG, AGG really got the short end of the stick as far as that's concerned, because they got maps where we actually have seen good T-side performances in the past. Specifically, I think you were talking about the set versus Liquid just a few moments ago, and this is where we saw them have a good T-side performance. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball big time on CT side, but still, the T-side was mainly the issue when they played on Thursday, and this is where they showed good potential back a couple weeks ago. I think it was towards the end of February, right before the major qualifiers, where these guys played versus Liquid and almost beat them here. It was like an 11-4 half, and then unfortunately they allowed a massive comeback to happen. But then also in Dust 2, which, as you were saying before, is where they beat Liquid off of a very good T-side. I think they picked up like 10 rounds there, and that T-side on Dust 2 is actually where their only good T-side performance happened the other night as well. So considering that, hopefully that won't be an issue for these guys tonight coming back to Cobblestone. But what question does that leave for the CT side, though? Because that was a very, very weak point when they played against Liquid a couple weeks back. Thankfully, they're going to be playing against AGG, so it shouldn't be the biggest challenge in the world, but still, there is quite a weak point there. A lot of the same issues resurface.
Yeah, and that really is one of the focal points there. And it was also big individual performances on Dust 2. Legia stepped up absolutely massively for them on that map. And again, he was a big factor in the Cobblestone loss at 16-12, is them being so close into it. Of course, Simple ended up going off on the second half and just completely slaughtered them. But aside from that, it was Legia having a good series in that one. Everybody kind of performed on Cobblestone, but when it came to Dust 2, it was predominantly Legia and then Justin behind him, but it was 9 kills behind him. So it was a little bit behind in that aspect. Now, on the other side, we've only seen Dust 2 out of Team AGG so far this season. We haven't seen their Cobblestone yet. They played Dust 2 against Splice, and they actually lost 16-12. However, one of the things to note is in that series, and this was actually recently that we saw this was the other night, Twist actually stepped up really big for his team on Dust 2. Was the top fragger for them. And if you guys in chat don't know who Twist is, he's like this 16-year-old kind of sensation that stepped up and made it to Pro League. And he's been doing relatively well, even though his team is yet to get a win on the board. So far this season, he's been doing pretty well for them. He's actually got the most kills. He's tied with the most kills alongside Ruru. So he's been doing a little bit of work.
Well, we've already gone straight past the pistol round, and we are live with things now. AGG just absolutely swept through it, shutting down NRG completely. And now they're going to be off to a great start on their own CT side here. At NRG, unfortunately, they're going to have to start up from the bottom of the barrel in terms of building their economy. They will be forcing up on this round Gabi, buying the utility for the team. Legia, Peter, Justin, and Silent all going for an upgraded pistol or P250, $500 pistol or P250, along with armor sitting behind it. But Silent, not going to have the best start for him, as he gets dropped down to 43 HP very early on in the round with a push back over there towards the balcony.
I was totally alt tabbed and didn't realize we were in pistol round, so I apologize for missing that. But again, like you said, AGG picking up that pistol round and Ruru doing some work. Now they're going to go for this split towards the A bomb site, but it gets shut down. Ruru again, he picked up 3 kills in the pistol round. He's on 5 now, taking down Peter and his comrade as well. Now the push comes up through mid, and this should be easy for Twist to pick up the last 2. They're going to try to get that ump money. Nope, the pistol comes and gets him anyway. So 2-0 for AGG, and they only lose L's.
And AGG, as you're mentioning here, with minimal losses coming in, this will be great for building up that early CT economy. Oftentimes a very hot area that the CTs struggle in on basically any sort of mid-tier North American team. And when you look at the lower tier ones, it's a really big problem. So getting a good start like this is definitely going to help. And for NRG, of course, failing the force up, we're now going to go for a very light investment here on round number 3. Just P250s, nothing really else coming into the equation, as these guys are just going to sit back. They'll take it a little bit slower this time, not going for like an all-in push or anything, considering that AGG should be able to hold that back. So they'll play it slow, they'll wait and see if the CTs get aggressive, and then if not, they'll try to execute onto his site. More than likely, though, it'll be AGG shutting things down quite easily, and we already have our first kill on the board for the CTs with L's finding Gob B.
Yeah, it was a little silly. He pushed a smoke on long A. Got the intel that he was there, but Els should be able to pick off a couple more. He's got Justin and Peter walking around. There's the peek, and now they're going to try to tag team this right now, but he's falling back. He's got the range with that M4. He's going to be able to clean up both of them. Legia in mid, Lulu finds him, and Invert over at B takes down Silence, so that's going to be a clean sweep, and that's exactly what they need. They're going to preserve those rifles into the next round. Ocean, no real need for him to upgrade from the ump. I believe he was playing by drop, and that can be a good gun for drop zone.
It looks like he will be sticking with that, but NRG, again, notice this. They did this the other night, too. They're actually going to skip past the 4th round buy because of the fact that they don't get any plants on the first 3 rounds, and they went for the force in the 2nd round. They would not have a good utility stack if they were to buy right here on round number 4, so they're actually going to save one more round, triple save for the T side, just to make sure that they have the full buy when they finally decide to go for it. This is a bit dangerous, though, because of the fact that it does give the CTs a possible 4-round lead early on here, but starting it off well, Justin is going to jump in through the mid connector, finds a pickup on Naru, and this combined with Peter's earlier kill might actually allow these guys to steal it away on still what is not a full buy as of yet for these Ts. But now they need to get themselves onto his site. They've only found kills in the middle area as of yet. They still need to get themselves onto his site and get this bomb down.
One of the big things is 2 of the rifles that they salvaged go onto armored players as well, so that's a nice find. And going into this round, up until those 2 kills came out, they only got 1 kill in 3 rounds. So that was one of the reasons. And now Invert's going to probe for info in mid, and Justin's going to destroy him because they went to this turtled up defense. And now coming around, Peter, long range spray onto Twist, and this round's in the bag now for NRG. There's really nothing Ocean's going to be able to do here in a 1v5 with the bomb going down at A.
Ocean is hanging out and drop. Maybe he can get lucky, find some players pushing in, but nope, that's not the case. Everybody's basically hanging out on that A bomb site. You've got Legia, moving in on a flank right now. Should be able to take down Ocean, but then not only is NRG going to be able to steal this round away on basically like a half buy, but
the guns.
Also, yeah, look at all the guns they've gotten for free. That's now 4 rifles in the hands of the guys on the T side, and they haven't had to buy a single one of them. Possibly looking at that UMP being picked up too, but Ocean does drop Silent, so it won't be sitting on a full buy. Legia is going to be able to surprise against Ocean, though, and recovers that rifle, so NRG still end up coming out hugely on top in terms of the metagame here by winning that round.
Yeah, and that, I mean, helps out tremendously. Now, granted, because AGG got those 3 rounds in a row and didn't have to go up against that necessarily like an early buy and didn't lose a lot of people, they're going to be able to go right into an investment into this round. So this will be our first full gun round. It just comes at a goofy time. The swap of economy was very strong in favor of energy, and you can see they only had to invest into an AWP for Peter. The rest of them are going to be just fine on money into the next round as well, but Peter opening up. So he's already putting that op to work, and that's a nice find for him because it takes the op out of the CT side's hands as well.
So Peter picking up that off as well, and he's been feeling fairly confident with it as of late. In fact, we just got a stat from our stats man, shout out to Predator, who just told us that at the moment, Peter is leading in op frags at the moment for Pro League, sitting up at 107 for the entire season so far. So he's definitely been feeling a lot better in his opping role ever since joining onto this team. However, as we get later into the round, a kill was traded out by Els, managed to take down Gabi, but it was at a heavy cost to his own HP. Els is now sitting down at 22, so he's going to have to be careful and play it back for the rest of this round. But NRG now moving themselves over towards the B bomb site. They're going to get ready to execute on B, but Justin is definitely keeping the potential for a fake alive towards A.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. The more damage that he can do, the more it's going to keep Els over here at the A bomb site. And if he comes up mid with the limited HP that Els has and the angles that he can check, and look at that, Ruru actually getting caught out. Silent's going to go for a second, and he's going to get it. So it doesn't even matter what Justin was able to do in mid. He's still just lurking down here at the bottom side of mid, but Els, I mean, he was so far removed from that push coming in towards B because of his limited HP and the fact that Justin had a presence, and now Justin's got a great angle and gets the kill anyway. So 2 rounds in a row now for NRG. Peter's still on the op, and the rest of them, they don't really even have to worry about their money right now because they got that round beforehand.
So NRG, as you're saying, that first round victory that they got on the half buy was just such a huge dominance now over the CTs because they've already got a great economy just off of 2 round victories, and AGG are now completely broken too, so they can build it even higher. It's literally taken them 0 time to get this good of a bank going, and also they only allowed AGG to get 3 rounds onto the board, so they're, you know, over the course of the next probably 30 seconds or so, they're going to be tying this game back up, as AGG probably won't be able to resist them this time with just the upgraded pistols. They don't even have armor behind their buys, so there's no way in hell they're going to be able to upset here.
Yeah, this is a really limited round. That flashbang through mid twist is going to be on the other side of the doors, but he's playing back on the archway side, CT spawn area, bottom of the ramp, and that Molotov doesn't quite extend to where he's at. He's on the other side of the arches, but again, he's going to be biding some time here, but that bomb is over towards B, and it looks like they're going to be playing around with drop room, and Ocean's going to be over here. He hasn't really seen too terribly much action. He's actually only 1, 2, and 2. But that's mainly because there really hasn't been any abuse over there towards the drop zone.
Now we can see they're going to move in to investigate it a little bit here. Keep in mind, the bomb is definitely not leaning towards a B hit right now, so they've committed someone to drop, but they possibly maybe end up pulling out from it, or just trying to drive a wedge so they can move into the A side a little bit better. But Ocean holds his own, and Gabi almost gets caught there. Thankfully, Ocean gives up and falls back away, so that's going to keep Gabi alive for the time being. But now the actual take is going to begin moving itself in through the mid choke point here. Els moving in on the assist, trying to take down some players, but not going to be able to find anything. Peter and Silent pick them both off back to back, and AGG are going to rotate in very quickly. Ocean, he's picked up a rifle. Now he's got to perform with it. He's found out in the open by Justin. An easy frag for the T's to find invert Ruru in very unoptimal positions. So Ruru might try to jump out and surprise here. Find a headshot or two, but again, with the guns that they're working with, it's just definitely not going to be in their favor. And NRG should be able to find the 3rd round here in just a few moments.
Yeah, and Gabi's coming around from behind too, so there's no option for escape, and Silent's even going to peek the corner that Ruru's hiding around. So nice awareness from the NRG guys. They're going to tie things up 3-3. And we are going to go into a gun round. It's going to be a tough buy here for the CT side. I mean, not a lot of nades to work with. They are picking up smokes, which is good. Not a single one of them investing in head armor, which is going to be kind of a big deal because 2 out of the 4 rifles on the T side right now are M4s. So instead of it being a 2-shot kill with that, now since they don't have head armor, a 1-shot to the head is going to be able to take them down. So that's something to note going into this round, is it's not a full AK buy on the T side.
So NRG already starting to get pretty aggressive here, specifically Gabi moving up over there to the long A. He's not going to be able to find anything. Smoke tossed out. Els thankfully decides to not push that to get some intel, so he's just going to smoke it and fall back in the way. The guys from NRG will respect that for the time being. They're holding themselves outside of the mid connector over in the actual middle area, but NRG have also already moved in. They're trying to get some control over here towards the B-bomb site. Again, nothing really super aggressive at this point, but they do have one of the T's pinched, as you can see over on the platform. I believe holding it out is going to be Twist, and he's trying to stop Silent from retreating, but he's behind the box right now, so Silent would have a safe path to retreat. He's just being very cautious about it. Moving back into the halls now. They will be able to safely evacuate out of there. Well, 2 more players are trying to get themselves in a drop room. A little bit of a stack going on there, but they're not going to find any of the CTs because everybody on both sides is playing super passively right now.
Yeah, and this is kind of the right call. I mean, Team AGG has been going relatively aggressive a couple of these rounds with the mid presence and the drop, or the mid presence and the long presence. This time around, they're going to bide their time. But this is all a fake over towards drop. They're probably going to send one person out through the drop window just to go for a split later on in the round. But they've got control of this area, and now the hit's coming towards A. So They've got control of the bottom pit. The op goes to work. Peter's going to find Els, who was out in the open on top of that. And now look at this. They're cutting off the flank. Leggett gets a nice shot onto Ocean. Invert does manage to trade it, but Gabi, Silent, both chiming in, and now it's Twist all by himself, and Gabi's going to shut it down. They didn't account for a second player to be out that drop window, and it works out really well for NRG. And now look at the money that they have, 15,000 for Silent, because he's had that M4 since round number 4.
And AGG are just dead broke again. They're gonna have to go for another full save here. A couple upgraded pistols coming into the mix, as we can see, like a CZ and 2 Deagles on Ocean and Els, but with no armor behind it, with the exception of Ruru. I don't really expect anything super amazing. We've already seen a couple of these eco rounds at the hands of the CTs, and they haven't really been able to hold it that well, especially not with that utility too, because of how slow paced NRG is playing it. The strategy where they just hold themselves outside of middle, they're probably gonna do this for almost every single round because it just tends to work so well. They did this against Liquid like 5 or 6 times in a row. It almost always worked. So with AG not really having anything, or AGG rather, not really having anything to force NRG outside, I just don't really foresee them being able to do any real damage on this round. So NRG more than likely is going to be able to walk over this and find a 5th round.
What's that old saying? If it's not broke, don't fix it kind of deal? If you look at the scoreboard, they've lost 1 player in each one of the rounds in the past 4 rounds. So obviously what they're doing with that mid strat, that slow play, has been working out really, really well. This time around, they sent Silent and got B down long B towards Broken Wall, and they're going to filter on in because, well, there's only 2 guys here to defend, and Silent's going to be able to draw first blood. He spots the second player. Leggy is going to assist with that one, and now they've got the B-bomb site for free. So no deaths on the board again into this round. Silent, he's low, but the 2 remaining CTs are so far disengaged from this bomb site, and they're just going to be looking for some exit kills. So again, another nice round from NRG. They're just slowly chipping away at this half, and they're going to have a 2-round lead at the end of this one.
And AGG mainly just trying to keep some of these guns in play, more specifically because he has the armor. So with the economy for the CTs being essentially in the dumps, as it were, I don't think they want to risk trying to drop Ruru once again, as they might get a little bit of a boost from that, but more than likely trying to find some exits as they start to creep a little bit closer to where the T's may be hiding out at. Ruru's starting to fall back, though. And he's going to place himself in the halls, and L's trying to box them in now, too, so maybe look at themselves into a little bit of a battle here, but the peek rolls out. Peter, she does get baited in the shooting, but Ruru sees the op presence there, and again, with no utility to try and stop them from impacting. Hells is going to try to push through, but he does a little bit too late there, so the round expires just as he exposes himself. Nonetheless, though, the buys will now be coming in for the CTs once again, but they need to start impacting here, because NRG is starting to run away with things. Now 5 rounds in a row, and they're still working with that monster economy, so even if AGG finally win another round, they've got, 4 or 5 more to go in a row, and if NRG can consistently plant, way more than that before their economy is broken on the T side.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest investment from the NRG side was $1,750 from Justin, and that's because he bought nades, and I think he upgraded a pistol. So, I mean, you look at it that way, and now Silent over by Broken Wall. He's already eliminated the Opper. Twist does manage to trade, so this is, at least a decent start here for the CT side, but with a map as big as Cobblestone, that trade heavily favors the terrorist side because now they can group up and hit a bomb site that's been weakened by a rotation, and you can see Ruru playing over here by the drop window now. He's a little bit off of that A bomb site, so if they decide to go towards A, they've only got to deal with this close player Els, and then maybe a rotator before the other 2 manage to make their way all the way over, so NRG's pretty much in control of this round right now.
Now NRG starting that slow crawl towards the A-bomb site. Nels is going to have to be the man to call this out, and he's done so. We can see some rotations starting to move over from B. Twist and Ruru going to relocate themselves, but not committing to it just as of yet. I think they're really scared of this being a fake again because of how much NRG's been throwing them, and they're even going to... Looks like they may be throwing someone over into the halls. I think it's mainly, it's mainly just to watch out for a flank, though, so he'll very quickly place himself back inside of the mid-connector as they just wait the time down a little bit. They are leaving themselves with quite a low amount of it, starting the execute at around 40 seconds here. So with Els finding that first pickup, that's not going to help them. Justin did respond to it pretty quickly, but they also still have to deal with a player over here inside. Oh, Twist picking up 1 and 2 kills on a Peter and Justin. Looking for a third, but Gabi does respond. However, Ruru is going to shut it down, and AGG finally pick up another round for themselves here on the CT side.
That was really, really well played from Twist. That kill came out onto Els in mid, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade. He inched his way up behind the spammable wall a little bit, and there was a mistake from Peter. He actually came out with a nade out, peeking around that wall, and being close on the spammable wall has kind of become a common thing here for the long A players to reposition themselves once the push initially comes in, so I'm surprised that Peter didn't come out with his gun out. So Twist able to capitalize on that mistake, picks up 2 more kills from over there, 3 kills on the round. And AGG is able to put a 4th round on the board. So they're not down, they're not out. But again, even with that round win, their money is just, you said it best. I mean, it's in the dumps.
So NRG actually really not going to change anything up. It's essentially the same thing that we saw previously, maybe a little bit more held back this time. But for the most part, still the same kind of stack that these guys are working towards. Gob B will start the push a little bit as he pushes himself over here towards long A. Good pop flash, but Els is a little off the mark, so he won't really be able to execute upon that flash, and now Els going to fall back. Has given away a presence, but again, these guys have been throwing a lot of false hints towards either site, so I doubt AGG is really going to react to any of that this early. However, they did start to move over early. I think this is just a preemptive move, and he could still very easily rotate back towards the B-bomb site. Twist as well, hanging out in the site connector itself, so they left themselves quite weak on B. Just that one little pop flash could have done the world of work in getting some of these players off of their default positions on the B-bomb site to make this take a lot easier for NRG.
Oh, invert. Oh, he misses an easy shot, doesn't hit the harder shot, and Silent's going to be able to find that. He does get legged, but, I mean, now you see the collapse coming in towards the B-bomb site. Ruru's here, Twist is here, Ocean is also here, still in drop. And looking for this push to come out around the corner. He's only got the UMP to work with, and Gabi is going to oblige. He runs right on through that. Twist is going to find the nade kill on the Silent, but Leggy made his way through the door. Twist does manage to answer back, but it's going to be Peter to lock down 2 more with the AWP. And again, we talked about his stats at the beginning of this, how he's got the most op kills in Pro League right now, and there's a couple more for you.
NA Pro League, that is. Actually failed to clarify that earlier, but
oh, is it just NA?
Yeah, I misread the message we got regarding that stat, but not too big of a deal. Els will be attempting this retake. It'll get shut down pretty quickly, though, as Peter is a good round, finding 3 kills, 2 of the last ones as well, to put that back into the control of the guys on NRG. So trading was getting a little bit crazy there through the sequence of that round, but Peter brings it back into control and, of course, finishes off the final player. Tiger broken once more, and have to just go for P250 upgrades. I imagine a couple wild pistols will be in here, but with the average amount being somewhere close to about 1,500, 2K, these guys are not really going to be able to bring much to the table.
Yeah, and that's where it really starts to get scary now, is because, again, we talk about the buy, lose, save scenarios so many times on the CT side because their guns are more expensive. And again, Team AGG finds themselves in that kind of a situation now. They got the last round on the board. They get instantly reset immediately afterwards, and they are very, very low on money. I mean, Els is at 1450. So that's going to be a really rough start. Ruru already down, so...
Nobody watching long A, despite them having 2 players inside of Suicide Steps. Both of them were looking in mid-connector, so that's going to hurt, obviously. Silent finding another kill here, and the CTs are already down to dust, essentially. The only thing that could maybe throw a wrench in the gears would be Invert, trying to go for this flank, but even that's being watched out for now by Legia. So these guys have all their assets covered. NRG should have no trouble at all closing out this round. AGG, this is becoming an issue too, is that these eco rounds, like, of course you don't normally expect the eco rounds to do all that much, but still you should be able to trade it a couple kills here and there, and for the most part AGG aren't even really doing that.
Yeah, they're not doing any damage to the T-side economy, and that's where it's really starting to get scary, because like you said before, I mean, they had so much money to go for rebuys that it was going to be 2, 3, maybe even 4 rounds before they had to go for a save. You can see now, even after losing the round prior to this one, they still had a ton of money on the buyout. So even after this one, Justin's going to be pretty much on money cap. Peter, well, Silent does go down, but that's going to be fine. Yeah, Justin's money cap. Peter is $50 for money cap. So, I mean, they need to start requesting rifles being dropped by these top money banks, and that's what they're going to do. I mean, Justin buys down to 12,400 because he dropped a gun over there to Silent. But, I mean, Peter's going to be money capped again after this round is over if they win it. Even if they don't win it, he'll be money capped.
And now for AGG, back up to another gun buy. But take a look, and they're missing a whole lot of utility here. So NRG can basically, after waiting about 30 seconds or so for these initial smokes to be used, take a look now, you can already see it. AGG have brought themselves down to a single smoke that's currently sitting on Ocean. But after they wait these out a little bit, they're basically free to do whatever the hell they want. There's a nice stack there over in Boost, or Holiday's over in Drop, and Ocean does go down. Invert trades it out, but Legia takes back control for the T's now, and they can easily execute onto the B-bomb site. Down to just 1 player at the line. They do have a decoy sitting over in Chicken Coop, but they should be able to read that pretty easily. Silence found Twist, so now the B-site's wide open for the taking, and the final 2 probably not going to have a choice. They probably just have to fall back and save. NRG is taking control of yet another round so quickly.
Yeah, they have to save. I mean, as much as they need to get rounds on the board, they also need to stabilize their economy, and this is not the way to do it right here. And it's funny, you know, you mentioned the utility and everything like that, and how Ocean had the only smoke, and he ended up being the first one to die by that clever little cheeky boost that they did over there in the drop zone. So he goes down. That's their last remaining smoke. Both of the players get eliminated and drop. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and all of a sudden that last guy on B is feeling really, really lonely. So well done from NRG. They get another round. That's going to be an 8th round for them. They're going to be working their way around through long. They've got L's over here, but they're not accounting for Ruru, who's kind of around the corner. But that flash is good. Ruru does hit the shot, though, so luckily he's going to get away with his life.
Although some damage is done, ultimately, again, the problem is going to be how much can it... Oof, we almost actually saw another kill from Silent, too. They put the round in it just as he was wrapping the corner, but that lineup was looking like it might have connected under the head of one of the CTs. And they're actually going to force this, which I actually don't think is the worst decision in the world.
No, not at all.
AGG's getting so far behind at this point that they kind of need to force because they just need to try and find some rounds. And this is still a very decent buy. In terms of what utility they're bringing, it's actually better than the last one. And they still managed to get most of their rifles on the table. And Ocean playing and drop, that UMP downgrade is going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, but the big problem is that he hasn't really been able to do much. And again, Ruru goes down. He does dink Silent, but they don't get the trade. There was another player there at long A, and he's not able to capitalize on the trade. And now it's going to be Els working back down and around behind these players in mid. This could work out really well. Finds the first, gets a second. Leggy goes down, and now there's one more over here by drop stairs to contend with. Gabi goes down, and finally Peter is able to answer back. So Els, clever little flank there, and it pays off in a big way for the terrorists, or for the CT side of AGG.
Peter's got to be careful of Twist, and in fact, it's Twist that takes him down. Twist getting aggressive, doesn't even want to take a chance on Peter creeping around and find another angle for him to work that 1v3. Shuts it down. He does recover the op, so that'll be thrown into the hands of the CTs for free, and they will be able to re-upgrade most of these players as well, so saving a bit of money that time on scavenging a lot more guns and keeping 3 of their guys alive, but they still have to work through the money that's sitting over here on NRG. Some of it's whittled away as these rounds have been a little bit closer over the past few, but for the most part, NRG's still leading 8-5 here. They've got a lot of work to do to get themselves back into this match as of yet here within these last couple of rounds, and NRG probably just going to slow things down once more to watch out for AGG's aggression.
Silent's quietly been having himself a pretty good half so far. Gabi spotted this out, not able to land the kill though. Els gonna capitalize with long A, finds that opening pick, so this is nice from AGG. They might be able to string a couple rounds together here at the end of this half. It's a good molly being thrown by Els, and he's gonna peek behind this, but Justin is there and ready. Silent goes down to invert. Finally, that op coming to life here from the CT side, but again, there's another player over here, Legia. They do throw out the smoke, but he's gonna push onto the broken wall side. Well, nope. Thought otherwise there for a second. Maybe this isn't the best idea.
So now as Legia falls back a little bit here, they're going to try to regroup, but they've been heavily stunned, and we've actually seen, you know, the rounds that AGG have picked up, it's often been because of the fact that they found an opening pick or two and gotten a man advantage that NRG, unfortunately, have not been able to recover from that. They still have Legia alive, who's been, actually, he's kind of in the bottom of the fragging power right now, but we've been seeing him doing an okay job at finding some of these entries here. But with him now still being separated from the rest of the team, I'm not too confident in how well they're going to work this down. A 1-for-1 trade is happening. This is not optimal at all for NRG. Twist just took down Legia, so now it's all on Justin to pull this off. He's going to get aggressive, and it nets him a first kill, but a nade explodes right in his face. And Twist is able to finish him back off. The net AGG... Wow, sorry. I always get confused between the AGG and AGG thing, but I know it's AGG. So that's going to net them their 6th round here as we head into the final round of the first half.
That nade was actually really big, because if he would have been able to get that peek out, if Justin was able to get, you know, a full speed strafe out from behind the door, he might have had an opportunity to kill Twist and then book it to the B bomb site to get a bomb plant, because that last player had already dropped out of heaven into the A bomb site. So little luck, little skill, call it what you want, but it works out in AGG's favor, and they're able to get a 6th round. So now this CT side doesn't look so bad. Not at all.
They've recovered quite nicely. And this does make you worry a little bit about how well NRG's actually going to do on their CT side, because when they played Liquid, this is where they really dropped the ball. I think it was mainly because of a lot of the communication issues and whatnot. And you know, it didn't even really come down a lot of the time to like a missed call or whatever. It was just the fact that they couldn't call out where the takes were coming from and rotate so fast. Like Liquid actually did something that was fairly straightforward, where whenever a gun round came up, they would just rush the B bomb site, and it would work actually almost every single time. So NRG are going to have to keep themselves on point when it comes to rotations, otherwise AGG could overwhelm them. Starting it off though, it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Peter moves in and just decimates Twist as he's out in the open for whatever reason, so that's going to be an easy frag. He's getting an advantage, but the CT's moving in very quickly. Invert using the T-smoke to move in position behind the rock. He takes down Peter. Little does he know Legia is slowly creeping up in front of him here. We'll see how crafty Legia can be, but Invert finds another kill. He's got to strike fast, and I think they just realized he's there. They can hear the shots moving in, but this may not benefit Legia. Smoke's starting to fade, but he lines up the first kill. Didn't realize that Ruru was through, sitting there with him, though, as Ruru's yet to fire off a shot, so it gets him the kill, and it's now down to Justin in a 1v2, and he's boxed in.
Yeah, this is actually really scary for Justin right now. Els has gone on this big flank through broken wall side. He's going to catch the back of Justin here in a second, or is he? Okay, I'm not sure. All right. Flashbang comes out. Team Flash, actually. Justin can isolate this 1v1. He can win this round now. He's only got 5 seconds, so he's going to go for the plant. He will be able to get that bomb down because Ruru is too far away. And now he can play with Ruru from the backside of statue right now. So this is actually working out relatively well for Justin. And he spots him, but he falls off the side of the statue. That's a little bit unfortunate because he had a golden opportunity. But 8-7 half, not too bad from AGG. They recover really nicely. And it's like you said before, when NRG played against Liquid on this map, they got 1 round on their CT side. It was 12 rounds for Liquid on their T side. And that was mainly because that B push that they kept throwing at them couldn't be stopped. It was, I mean, simple just going into the I don't give a crap anymore mode and just barreling out B and just wrecking everybody. But, you know, we'll see if AGG can kind of do the same, exploit the same weakness.
But Ash B
don't stop.
Yeah.
Rash B no stop.
AGG get themselves off to a great start, but unfortunately dropped the ball big time and allow AGG to recover now and get themselves up to 7 rounds. They still hold the lead, but it's only by 1 round, which I guess if you're going to be playing it in a normal sort of way, I guess isn't too far off what you kind of expect for this map, is a slightly T-sided advantage at about 8-7, 9-6, but still with the way things were going and how quickly like the T's were able to build up an economy, I think you would have expected them to do a little bit better and hold like a 10-5 advantage at the very least. With the way that the half was going, but unfortunately the CTs definitely propped themselves up much better, and for whatever reason AGG just lost a lot of their entry power, which gave the CTs a bit of an advantage there as we got towards the ending portions of the half. So bit of a disconnect. He's back in now, and we should be getting started with the second half at any moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a reminder for you guys, we've got 3 sets of double headers for you tonight. The first one being this NRG versus AGG Cobblestone, then Dust 2. Following that, we have Cloud9 versus Complexity on Overpass and Cash. Then we have Optic versus Renegades to close out the night on Inferno, and then Cobblestone. So make sure that you guys are sticking around all night. It's 6 hours, well, hypothetically 6 hours that we're going to be broadcasting for this. It's probably going to be a little bit more than that, but
there's going to be an unexplainable delay at some point during the night.
Of course, it's anytime we cast together. There will be somebody who drops from the server and gets a Steam off error or a VAC ban and can't get back in, has to change to their Smurf account and re-register on ESEA.
All right, guys. Well, we're going live now into the second half. So NRG once more are still holding the lead, but it's by a very small margin. So we'll see how well they can try and grasp it here as we go into the second half. AGG lining up a very straightforward B execute. 3 players in drop, a little out of the ordinary there, but one may be here just to support with a nade. Whereas the other 2 are starting to put some pressure over here on platform, but they also do have Peter jumping up there, and he spotted some of this, so if he can get a little bit more intel from it, they're going to be able to read this ink. And also they need to rotate Justin in, but Gob B sitting in drop room is going to be the first to fall, and the guys on AGG are just going to funnel outside now. Look at him picking up kills left and right. The only one left on the B-bomb site is Peter, and he's only gotten a 1-for-1 trade. Justin tried to flank, but he had no time to do it with all the CTs falling down so quickly. And now Justin, there's no way in hell he can pull this off.
That strat brought to you by the old decoy fake flash. That was beautiful. The players that were playing in drop on the CT side got juked so freaking hard. There was 2 decoys that got thrown out, and they turned from both of them and ended up just yielding drop, and then Twist just barrels out and kills 2 of them. So that was really, really nicely done. Little cheeky strat there. I like it. I like it a lot.
So now that AGG, unfortunately for NRG, are going to lose their lead here. they're going to be in a very rough position here on this second half, specifically for their CT side, as this is, as we mentioned this again, this is where a lot of those issues cropped up, and they need to get themselves back into this very, very fast. Otherwise, we could foresee a bit of an upset here with AGG stealing it away versus NRG. NRG should absolutely win this game, but AGG, if they can keep this momentum moving now on the T side, then there is a chance for them to steal it away.
Alrighty, so all tied up here. Mac-10 goes to Els. UMP in the hands of Ocean. The scout in mid was going to try to do a little bit of damage here, but ends up taking more than he deals out. So he's down to 50 HP, talking about Justin with the scout. So he's going to go back all the way into the A-bomb site. And look for any more added activity coming up from these terrorists here in mid. But unfortunately for him, AGG is well over by the B-bomb site.
AGG now getting ready to move their players out, possibly holding back a little bit here. They still have plenty of time to work with, and they might want to be a little bit more cautious considering this is the 4-step round. So trying to be careful of stacks and whatnot. There was a pretty heavy presence in drop, but I don't really think they've noticed it as of yet. I don't really think they're even going to be using drop all that much in this round. Most of the players now moving out towards platform. L's the only player that's even looking at drop. And they've got one more moving back now to catch a flank in the event. The CT's moved out here. They haven't done so. Just sitting in their default positions, a little bit heavily stacked over towards the B-bomb site, and for good reason, too, because they're going to be able to read this push. Peter picks up a first kill, finds a second response to it, falls back, and trying to pick up the frag, though, as he's left out in the open. Els and Ruru find 2 kills for the T's, and now the CT's taking the long-range battle, not what they want to be working against. Invert and Ruru find 2 more. Justin responds with the scout pickup, but that's it. Invert trades it out, ends the round, and AGG will now take the lead.
That was well played from Peter. He was able to peer just underneath of that smoke and spot the feet of the players coming out, lining up the headshots, able to pick up 2, but unfortunately he gets caught in a reload and his teammate peeks out to support, and he gets caught by a second terrorist peeking out. So AGG, even though they lose 3, and that was one of the big things in the first half that we saw. Whenever AGG was on the save on the CT side, they couldn't get more than a kill out of a round. NRG, this time around, they dropped 3 of those guns. Of course, one of them was a UMP, but the other 2, I believe, were actually AKs. Because the Mac-10 survived out of the end of that round. So, nicely done from NRG, able to do some economical damage. So, if they can continue to do that, that'll be a good omen moving forward.
AGG, same type of execute once again. Ocean getting some very early control of drop room, and Silent trying to jump in, but I don't think he fully realized just how far pushed Ocean was in. Now he's going to roll outside of it. CT's not a whole lot they can do to resist this here, and Ocean just going to rip him to shreds. He's already up 3 kills, looking for a 4th, and he's going to find it with his Glock. Peter responded with 1 pickup onto Els, but that's about it. No damage done to AGG this time around.
Yeah, that was much better for them. This time, we're not going to see NRG waiting around to get a buy on the board. Peter's got enough to go for the AWP. He doesn't get the armor to go along with it, but that's going to be just fine. He's probably going to push down in mid and take a peek or play back fountain. 2 of the most common spots to play, and it looks like he is going to go towards B with the AWP. So, expect him to play either back fountain or coops. Maybe take a quick peek on Broken Wall, because he did have a decent spawn for it, and he's actually just going to be there to boost his teammate up, so not going to be taking any added risk by overexposing himself early in the round, and he is going to play from coops, so that's where the AWP is going to be for this round. But heavy presence towards long A from the T side. Ocean leading the way with the UMP. I don't think I've seen him with a rifle yet this match.
And now the guys, NRG, are going to be tested pretty early on here. Justin trying to hold that long A angle, but is forced back, and Silent is here to support him, but he too has also suffered some early damage, now down at 43. So he's going to have to be a little bit careful about the duels he takes, as they're probably going to be looking at him first around this corner. Maybe they want to switch positions, but there's no time left as AGG move through. Heading towards suicide steps. Invert takes that first duel, but Silent is able to pop out and find the trade for it, bringing things down to a 4v4, but now they're going to quickly collapse over towards this A-bomb site, trying to throw in some utility nades maybe, but no, actually AGG just throwing a pot flash, and they're holding back. They're going to use some restraint here. Maybe have some second thoughts into this A push, now that they've been traded.
God B was going to rotate back up towards A, but he just refreshed his smoke at drop, and decided to hang around, and actually, I believe that's Ruru that's up there. Yeah, Ruru was getting ready to push on out in that area, and luckily for Gabi, he stuck around so that player can't get back out. Now they're filtering back over towards B. So Peter with the AWP, he's a long rotation away, but he's going to go ahead and hightail it over here. And this is the right call. So they're going to have 3 CTs over here stacked up. Legia does get mollied out of position. Not before he finds one, though. And then Els is going to come in. Ruru, Ocean. It's all down to Gabi. What can he do here? He drops 2. The last guy's
gotta be careful though, as Ocean's coming up behind him. He's gotta hide in the corner. 3 seconds left. Ocean, no, he can't find him, and the timer is gonna run out. So Gabi peeks back out. He is going to end up going down, but he's successfully hidden away and won the round. So NRG will finally pick up a round here on this first gun round of the second half, but it's at a very heavy cost to the CTs, and with what AGG built up in their anti-eco rounds, they're easily going to be able to reinvest this time.
Yeah, so a round that AGG shouldn't have lost there, but look at this buy out of the CT side. 2 umps, 2 FAMASs, and an M4, so Peter can't get back on the AWP. They lost everything out of that last round. This time around, they're going to go for a boost, and it's a fast strat towards B, so if he pushes, I don't know if they actually saw him jump down. Ruru has no idea Peter's already by him. He's going to push the smoke. What can he get done from this position? He's already out on Broken Wall Balcony. He's going to deny the plant, takes him down, looks for Ocean. They still haven't figured out where he's at, and he's going to get 2 backstab kills. Beautifully played.
Peter just went super ninja style, but Ruru going to try to bounce this back. However, he leaves himself exposed to Peter again. So he gets 3 kills and single-handedly saves that round. And now we're going to be tied up here. Back again at 10 rounds. Still going to be looking at NRG, basically working with a bar minimum in terms of a buy-up, unfortunately, because they lose a lot of their players. It goes down to just Peter again, but it's enough damage this time, at least, to bring AGG down to a very manageable point. Most of these guys are only going to be able to go for upgraded pistols. Ruru, the only player on AGG that'll be working with an AK this round, but this could mean as well that the heat's going to kick itself up, as AGG, with a limited arsenal, probably are going to shift themselves just towards a direct B hit.
Yeah, no reason not to. I mean, really, the last 2 times that they went, they lost off of formality. I mean, a big play from Peter getting boosted up over drop zone, and time expiring with Gabi playing the clock well. Both other times, they should have won the rounds going into the B bomb site. This time around, looks like it's going to be no different. They're trying to spam through these smokes, and they are getting lit up a little bit here. Ocean's down to 17 HP. They know that the hit is going to be coming over here towards B. No presence anywhere else. Legia fully flashed, but he's going to recover. Pulls out the pistol. Whips one to the floor. Invert's going to be able to answer back, but Peter's there. Last one, Ruru coming out from drop. And Gabi with that UMP going to put a little ching in the bank and pick up an AK for his troubles.
So now NRG getting themselves back on their feet, essentially, as they were struggling big time over these past, actually, I would argue to say, probably the past, 10 rounds or so now, but finally starting to get their sea legs back, essentially. And AGG, after forcing up there previously, are going to have to go for a full save this time around. Same investment in terms of the gunpowder, but they don't have the utility or the armor to support it this time now, so it's going to be much more weakened, and NRG should have a much easier time holding it, assuming they don't get too over-aggressive, and the guys from AGG aren't able to take advantage of that by picking them off early on.
We're talking about overly aggressive. Justin went for just a complete wide peek on long A. I think he actually spotted Ocean up there at the top side of mid, but it's Legia to open up. He's going to find that. That was a broken wall push. 2 players actually pushed that. Legia is going to be able to net himself the kill. Bomb's still outside of mid right now. Hasn't really made too terribly much in progress, but 2 over here by drop. Nade comes up. That's a little bit off the mark, but the spam comes out. Deagle goes to work. Twist is going to be able to take down Legia, but they've done a little bit of damage to these guys, so you do have Gabi with the UMP still there around the corner looking for these kills. Spots 1, spots the second, but can't line him up just yet. There you go. Finally gets him taken down.
He's playing whack-a-mole there. A drop a little bit. Just took him a few extra minutes to find the kill. Then Silent bounces inside of the hallway steps, shuts down Ocean, and there we have it. NRG. 2-round lead against the guys from AGG, but coming off of a full eco, now we've got another big investment, including the op sitting on Invert. It's going to be able to grab armor and a little bit of utility behind that, but the rest of the team back up to a full buy with AKs and full utility buys, everything they could need here. So NRG go right back into the hot seat, and they're going to have to be very careful that they don't lose their balance on this round.
Yeah, and that's the big thing right here. Invert's got the ops, so they're heavily invested into this round. They can't really afford to be reset anymore in this matchup. Even with the money bonus that's starting to stack up, I mean, looking at the money that they have left over after this buyout, they're going to be looking at, Ocean probably picking up an ump, maybe a Galil, some Tech 9s if they lose this round. So they're in a dire situation right now on the AGG side. This is a must-win round for them.
And AGG moving their players over towards long A. It's going to be a big push around this corner. Justin and Silent both going to try to hold it. They don't actually fall back to the site. They just move inside of suicide steps. Silent's going to be watching upper. And I believe they keep Justin with his eyes peered over here towards the mid connector, but everything is working its way out towards long A right now. So a lot of pressure on Silent. They don't pop flash it though, so Silent rips 2 heads right off, looking for a third. Twist does trade him out, but you still have Justin around the corner, and they might not check for him, but he's got to check to his left, as they'll be pushing him in a moment here. He's trying to move back out. Again, the bomb's on the floor and Twist so low. Justin just creeps right out and finishes him off. Now, though, he's going to switch over to his grenade, but actually still given enough time to throw that flashbang out into the open. He's going to move out, trying to find those kills, but a bit surprised to find both of them there. He did find the final location of the two Ts, though, and Gabi's going to move and execute one. And Peter, perfect timing, works his way out towards middle to execute Ruru before he can get anywhere else.
It's a little bit scary there for the AGG side, man. And here you go. Here's the force up. They're going to get 2 AKs, limited utility, couple of Galils and a Tech 9. So, I mean, this is their desperation time right now. They need to start getting rounds on the board. They need to reset the money of NRG, and they've started to build up a little bit of a bank here. So even if they lose this round, they're going to have plenty of money going into the next round. You can see Peter and Silent duking it out for the top in the server at 19 kills apiece, 15 for Justin now. And Legia on Broken Wall spots that player just before that smoke blooms and drops one of the rifles. Now, Els did manage to sneak up and pick up that AK, but look at this. Silent is already flanking the B-halls.
Peter trying to remain very active right now, moving around both drop and keeping his eyes on Broken Wall too, as this was looking like it was going to be a pretty rushed push out towards the Broken Wall area from AGG, but they've since decided against it after losing Ruru. It's the second or third time in this half that Legia has actually prevented that from happening, so now they're going to line up smoke to get themselves into the bomb site. Molly's thrown out by the CTs to respond to it, and Silent finds another kill as they've been boxed in now. Silent does get traded out by Twist, but they gave up the room they had over here on platform. And now they're actually going to be forced back. They'll attempt to change this to an A hit, but with already taking so much damage, this is going to be a very obvious play. And they also, I believe, just saw it too. Players that are sitting outside of the mid connector, Justin is going to be able to throw that molly on the floor, and he's called for the rotation. B's just rotated in, so no luck at all for AGG, and now they're just going to go back to plan A, which was hitting the B site, ironically enough.
Yeah, they're starting to lose time, but with this heavy rotation from the CT side, now this play actually does favor the AGG side, so they need to hightail it. Legia needs to get over here to B immediately. Peter's caught looking the wrong way. He's actually sitting over in drop room, so they have no presence to spot out this B bomb site. They're out through Broken Wall. Legia is in a good position now to be able to spot this out. Sees one over there. That's going to be the bomb carrier in Ocean. Takes the long-range battle, but can't win it. Els finds another one. If he can prevent the plant now, there you go. Such low HP left on Els, hiding behind the rock. Good spot for Justin. Gonna be looking for Els in this 1v1. And he shouldn't have a problem clutching this out unless Els hits an absolutely ridiculous headshot.
He wants to break the eco. He wants to break the economy now. He lets the timer expire. Goes for that last kill. Nicely played by Justin. And now look at what he's done. Everybody sitting around 3.5k, upper 3k margin on AGG. Well, not Els. He's down at 1.4. Which means that now if they were gonna force up here, it's royally screwed that up.
Yeah, and I mean, taking a pause now, it's a little bit late. They've let 6 rounds slide by. They were up 10-8. Now it's 14-10. NRG doing a really, really nice job getting themselves back into this matchup. And again, you know, we talked about what are they going to bring to the table on their CT side. Well, pistol round looked a little bit shoddy. A couple of rounds after that, not so great, but ever since that first full gun round, they've gotten right back in control of this matchup. 6 rounds in a row for them. So kudos to NRG for locking down their CT side. They had a decent, but not a great terrorist side. I mean, they got 8-7 at the half, but you know, ever since they switched over on CT, they've kind of taken over control of this matchup, and that's what we like to see because we know notoriously they've had a relatively weak CT side on this map. So it's nice to see that.
I would argue to say as well that even for those first couple of gun rounds that we saw, it wasn't even necessarily NRG just doing a fantastic job. It was that AGG just sort of lost their momentum after we saw NRG clutching out those first couple of gun rounds. They were very close. NRG almost lost them a few times, but after AGG kind of ran out of money and had to go through the usual cycle, they lost a lot of their steam in terms of their entry power to get onto these bomb sites to begin with. And also with closing out the rounds, they dropped a lot of that potential, so NRG were able to take advantage on that. AGG is still another one of those teams because of how new they are that's very momentum based. It's all the individual performances, or a lot of them I should say. Twist is still a very consistent player, but for some of the other guys it definitely holds true that if they're losing a lot of rounds consistently, you're probably not going to see as good as performances from a lot of these players, and unfortunately that drops the team so far down in terms of their potentiality to pick up a round that NRG can just dominate it from that point forward.
Yeah, and look at this. I mean, they're going to save up for that one last final hoorah on the AGG side and see if they can do anything, but they're going to give up tie point or match point. So, really tough. Justin playing over here by the stairs, going to find the first one. No trade being made readily available. Ocean's going to be there around the corner. Just hold down mouse one, Justin. He's getting flanked. Silence there to clean up 2 more, though, and the last 2 are going to be over here by the stairs, but Ruru spins around, finds him, takes him down 3-on-2.
So now the question for AGG is where do we go from here? Because NRG, they're getting aggressive. They're trying to move in and find these guys out. Peter picking one of them off. A great shot from him. That was, I believe, from the A doors down to the the T side of the mid connector.
Yeah.
Where he made that off shot from. So great pickup from him. And then Legia finishes off Ruru because, well, there isn't really anything for him to do. So AGG saved up, now going to invest, and they aren't able to invest fully into what could possibly be this final round, but they leave themselves no room at all for error this time. And if NRG closes it out, this is going to be it. And they're working with a double op setup now as well on the CT side.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the switch up on the CT side. Granted, they've won 7 rounds in a row now. Just to throw another, kink in the think for the T side, they pick up a double op. So Silent's going to have that, and there you go. Now they know. He gets 2, drops the bomb at long. He's hungry for more. One more behind that rocket. It's going to be Twist. Finds him as well. And this is pretty much done. Els did manage to filter his way down through mid, but Silent almost gets a 4th out of that as well. So it's a 2-on-4 now. Not a lot that the terrorist side can do unless Els goes for this backstab, but he's actually just going to go all the way up and towards that A bomb site spot that it's clear because they have no bomb control.
And now we can see Els has sort of snuck his way. Els is actually in a fairly good position right now because I don't really think anyone's accounted for a player sneaking all the way through long A. So he can try to sneak up on Peter, but he needs to catch him. He spots the barrel right there. Actually, no, he doesn't. So he's going to have to creep around this corner. At least in the Go TV, we can't see. He's seen his foot, though. So there we go. He's going to be able to finish him off. And Els will take up that first kill, but now they need to still turn this around, and it's Ruru's turn to try and find a good positioning. What he hasn't noticed, though, is Justin, who's sitting in that little archway there. So that's going to immediately trade it out. Takes out Ruru, and you're only working with Els. They've got a lockdown onto his position, but he wins another duel. Takes down Gabi, down to 28 HP. We're working a 1v2 now. Certainly a lot better off. And
nope.
Never mind. So there you go. There's one way to end a match. Justin's going to finish it off with the HE nade. And the guys on NRG will be winning this first map here.
Yeah, so 16-10, they close it down. 8 rounds in a row on the CT side, so really, really nicely done from NRG. They get the first of the BO1s, and then we're going to move over to Dust 2 here in a couple minutes, guys, so make sure that you don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our next match. NRG versus AGG, Dust 2, map number 2, coming up here shortly.
We're also going to be switching over to the main ESL channel as well, guys, so be sure to join us over there as we switch over to it.